What up, B.Woods? Now, let's get into it. Ladies, the real reason why you're still single, what your girlfriends won't tell you. Now you're single. You're probably asking yourself, why? I'm fly. I got it going on. Everything about me is the ish. But these brothers, they ain't trying to holler. What's going on? What am I doing? What's wrong? I'm Beyonce / Rihanna. Everything is just fly about me. All right, I'm about to let you know. This is why you're single. This is what your girlfriends ain't gonna tell you. This is the real. Let me let you know. You wanna know? I got you. Number one, you don't know what healthy behavior looks like. What does that mean? That means emotional intelligence. That means that communication styles. That means that if a guy is projecting something, all women are like this, or I don't like it when this particular thing happens and all people are like that. So those, the alls are cues, right? And so when you're dealing with people in general, there's certain cues that they give you to let you know that they have little emotional traumas and there's a little level of projection. And so if you can't identify that, it's going to be hard to date, because what you're going to be doing is, what does he mean? Or what does that really mean? You don't even have a baseline. You don't even have a baseline. You just like, you're guessing. You're basically guessing on behavior patterns. And if you're guessing on behavior patterns, guess what? You don't know. All right, so how do you get gamed up? How do you know? This is what you do. You take your ass to therapy. So therapy is something that's going to help you out. It's not only going to help you understand yourself, it's going to help you understand the behavior of dudes that you deal with, because you'll have a baseline pattern of what healthy behavior looks like, right? You'll know certain things. And if you got things going on with yourself also, right? So if you have things going on with yourself, a lot of times as dudes, we meet girls and you can tell they got all kinds of issues. They've been abused. They got things going on. They've been in financial struggles. They've been in all kinds of crazy things or whatever. And what happens is they project that on the guys that they deal with. Oh, he has to be like this, or he has to do this, or he has to do that. And you're wondering, okay, the has to portion of it has to deal with something that's going on. So what you want to do is kind of heal yourself so your energy's right. So when you deal with the dude, it all flows, right? And if you can identify certain things in him that doesn't coincide with what you're learning from a psychological perspective in therapy, then you'll be able to identify it and be like, okay, cool. I'm not guessing anymore. I know what healthy behavior looks like because I've been doing the work. And therapy doesn't mean that something's got to go wrong. I mean, if you go to a primary physician for your biological needs, right? So it only makes sense that you ongoing go to a therapist for your psychological needs. You go to a dentist for your dental needs. Like, these are things like you have to just kind of do ongoing. Get yourself a life coach. There's a lot of certain things that, therapists can't tell you, but make sure that these people are verified. They got great results, so that when you're dealing with these dudes on these streets, you know what's happening and you're not projecting your BS onto a guy because you have things going on. Guys don't want to know all your Mary J. Blige drama, and you're basically putting the baggage on because you ain't did the work. So do the work, and inadvertently you'll find people, your tribe, so to speak. You'll find healthier people that you do just by osmosis. You'll start to interact with dudes that are healthy by you being healthy, just by you doing the work. Because you just be like, okay, cool. The people that you entertained before, you're not even going to entertain, because they'll say things and they'll just be slightly off. You're like, oh, okay, yeah, okay, cool. Thank you, sir. I'll keep it pushing or whatever. You're not even going to entertain that. All right. So that's number one. Do the work on yourself. Get your ass into therapy. Understand your issues so you don't project them on some dude that, that got it going on, and then you sabotage it because you're a walking Mary J. Blige song. All right, cool. Number two, This is the one. Your peers and your friends influence bad decisions based on ignorance, and they just can't. And a lot of times women are just nice. You guys are very nice, right? You don't want to hurt your girlfriend's feelings. So a dude can be up here and he could be like, yeah, girl, he a serial killer, but he only kill people on the weekends and he go to church on Sunday. Like, and then your girlfriend, if she knows that you really, 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 really like this dude, she's like, girl, every song, even cavemen, they had to kill back in the day too. So they're not gonna keep it 100 with you. And so you want to make sure that the advice that you're getting, and it goes back to number one, that if you know what healthy behavior looks like, then the advice that you get from your friends, you can kind of use a little discernment. You can be like, okay, I can kind of take this, but I know what she's saying is full of ish, right? And a lot of times too, your girls ain't really gonna keep it 100 with you, right? They're just not gonna keep it 100. So you're gonna have that knowledge base, so that you're able to identify certain things in dudes. And so what you don't know, you have to learn from a psychological standpoint, right? You have to understand male and female polarity, the balance, what things actually work, relationships that stood the test of time, why certain things work and why certain things don't work. And so it's an information gap that you don't have. And a lot of times you get that information from people that just don't know. And so you want to be on top of it, right? You want to be going to your therapist. You want to be going to your life coach. You want to be doing, if you can't afford that, you want to be able to go on like the Tony Robbins, a lot of self-help stuff. A lot of it is all the same thing, but you have to internalize that. So when you are dealing with a guy, like I said, you'll be able to identify those things, and you'll be able to kind of like filter out the BS that your friends are saying. If you do talk to an older couple, make sure they're an older couple that are happy and that can actually give you solid information. They got it together. Don't talk to old grandnana that just say, okay, so hey, you ask her, hey, so how did you and grandpa stay together for the last 70 years? We prayed on it and the Lord took care. That's great and it's cute, but it's not, you want, like, if you know couples that are like Barack and Michelle, in the sense of just like, okay, they're moving in Cliff and Claire, like they moving and grooving, they know what's going on. That's what you need. Somebody that can give you tangible, actual steps, that can say, this is how you facilitate this, and they still rocking and rolling. They can still drive, they can still move, they can still walk around, and they can still, they can articulate themselves. That's what you need. And so they can help you and coincide with the work. So when you're actually dealing with the dude, you know the qualities that are going to make a dude be something that is going to be for you. All right. Number 3. Now, this is the other one, is your family dynamic, right? What's going on, ladies? A lot of times when fellas, we go on dates, we know a lot of women, they got issues, right? And it's not, the one everybody talks about is like, okay, daddy issues, daddy wasn't around. And so you can kind of tell women that weren't in a healthy situation, and so they're in emotional protection mode, right? They may have been raised by a single mom. When they're in the dating sphere, they're like, okay, I don't want to get burnt. I don't. Even when I was out here online dating, it would be a whole bunch of I don't. It'd just be this slew of subconscious negativity, and that's what you bring to the table. So it's almost like when you meet a dude, your sword is out. You looking like, okay, the dude is looking at you like, okay, you asking them questions so you don't get hurt, as opposed to coming into the situation like, what can I give? What can he give, so that we can build? And so that's the situation that happens when you're in a space where you have some level of trauma happening, right? Or even if you do have your mom and your pops, like your dad could have been a simp. And so I've dated somebody before And there was an issue where she would always talk about her pop. She would just be like, yeah, my mom just runs over my dad. If he says put up the Christmas lights, put up the Christmas lights. He was just like, yeah, you see these dudes, they be at Target, they got some effed up sandals, they got their damn socks to their knees, they bent over, and their wife is just looking at them like, just push that basket. Just keep on pushing it to the grave. And when these type of women have kids, what happens is there's a level of expectation of, okay, I'm about to run this dude. I'm about to run this dude the same way I saw my mom run her husband. And when that doesn't happen, it puts you in a situation to where you're like, okay, most guys that got themselves together, they ain't going for that. They're not going for that because there has to be some level of emotional polarity. It has to be a masculine, it has to be a feminine. So guys that have themselves together want things in order in a certain way. The only thing with women is just that sometimes if you're in a messed up family, if the family dynamic is off, you'll try to complete yourself by dating somebody that you could potentially run over. And so you're like, okay, cool. I don't like the resistance of a man that stands up or puts boundaries. So what I'll do is I'll date somebody that I can take advantage of. And so now you have somebody that you could run. He's doing everything. He's run yes dear, no dear, whatever. And now you're emotionally in a space where you don't want to run the show. You don't respect this dude. And then now it's his fault. Now you're like, okay, damn, I can run all over to this dude. I don't respect this dude. And all this stuff is happening on a subconscious level. Now you looking at other dudes. And it's because your femininity is out of balance. And so you want to make sure that you rectify the things within your family dynamic. So when you actually date a guy, that the order of the dating is in a space to where it's healthy. He's coming in 100%, you're coming in 100%, and you don't have all this lingering baggage happening to where you date a dude, he can sense that, or you're projecting whatever things you have from your family dynamic. And so a lot of times, you got to work that out. It all goes back to number one. You got to work out all that so that when you identify a guy, you're not pushing your issues on him. All right. So you want to make sure you do that. So now you're bringing in, you're like, okay, cool. I'm not sabotaging things, right? Because you've heard it before. You go on these dates and you're like, oh, I'm a survivor, guy. This is not what we want to hear in the beginning of a dating process, right? Work that out so that you could come in as a strong, healthy partner. All right. The other thing is that, all right, cool. You fly, you doing your thing. You're like, why am I still single, right? Are you, at this point, are you being a little more self-reflective? At this point, let's think about it. What are you doing to contribute to, if you have to pick out one thing, what is that one thing that you're doing to contribute to your singleness? Is everything perfect? Because if you think so, you wouldn't be here. So we're going to work it out, all right? So where are you meeting men, right? A lot of places that you're meeting dudes is not conducive to what you're looking for. You have to position yourself in order to find the type of guy that you're looking for, right? The type of guy that you're looking for is not going to be at the spot where everybody else is going, because you have your own fingerprint on your likes, your dislikes, things that you like, right? So you got to go to the spaces that you like. If you're into painting, you got to go to paint spots. If you're into bikes, you got to go to bike spots. You got to go to these social areas. You want dudes with money, it's always going to be some watery type of, not the beach. I'm just talking about some watery type of vibe. You like high-end stuff, you got to go to an art show, right? So those are the spaces you got to position yourself to be around spaces so that dudes could holler. Because like dudes, like I know post-pandemic, everybody got their mask on or whatever, and a lot of women are like, guys, they don't approach me and this, that, and the other. And I think a lot of that has stopped just because in social settings, everybody's just like, all right, cool. We've been conditioned to almost keep it pushing. But I'm even going to tell you how you can get your holler on even despite that. But the first step is that you want to position yourself to be in environments that are conducive, because this is what guys are thinking. So if I'm going to, like, for instance, I'm out here in LA. So they have this thing where they have everybody, it's like a whole bunch of like folks that come out on a Thursday night, educated, fly, black folks come out, they do like a 2-mile run. And so it's dope. You know, you get a whole bunch of just like very attractive, good looking, educated folks that do a 2-mile, they're into their fitness thing or whatever. And in environments like that, people are automatically going to socialize. You're not going to be standing there by yourself. So you want to find these group events that where you find your tribe. And that's where dudes are going to come up to you. If your look is right, you got your smile, you're not bringing in all the baggage, you're going to fly. You're going to find a dude that's going to be like, all right, cool. This is, hey, how you doing? And you're going to have a casual conversation and it's going to progress, right? So you don't want to, you know, you can, if you go to the club and all the generic spots, just do that as a space to where it's going to be just for fun. But if you're actually trying to meet somebody and trying to get it popping, then yeah, you got to be a little more strategic, all right? So the next thing you want to do, this, I'm going off my notes, so hold on for 1 second, y'all. I got this game for you. Is right here. Online dating. All right, who's out there doing the online dating, right? So if you got your mind right, you're doing the therapy, you out there got your life coach, you're talking to people, couples that's kind of been in the game for a minute, you know how to kind of have, you know, you're not listening to your home. You're like, all right, cool. You know what healthy behavior looks like. You're like, all right, cool. You in the space or whatever, right? So now, how do you identify what a fly dude looks like online, right? And the biggest thing that women do is you guys ask the wrong damn questions. That's part of the reason why you single, all right? You're asking the wrong questions. Part of the questions are like, you ask generic things like, do you get along with your mom? Are you nice with your mom? Do you like your, like, what dude's really gonna sit up here and be like, nah, I hate her. Like, nah, I don't mess with her at all. Like, that's just, so it's like, it makes no sense to ask stupid questions like that. Like, just know, you gotta have better questions for men in order to get a better response. So a better response would be something like, or a better question would be like, what's the relationship with women that you've dated, right? Because you ask something like, you know, are you nice to your mom? Every dude is going to be nice to his mom. I live in LA. It's like the biggest gangbangers out here. They would go out shooting people and then the next day come home and mom's like, I love you, mom. Like, that don't really mean nothing. But if you ask a guy something to the effect of like, what's your relationship with, you know, women that you dated? It's an open-ended question. If he says something like, no, I don't really mess with them like that, or I got a whole bunch of, they all my friends or whatever, like, you'll get more information and you can kind of see, okay, what you can kind of go down the rabbit hole that makes more sense, and then you can be like, okay, cool. If he says something cool, like, okay, yeah, I respected it, I always got along with them or whatever, but, you know, they went their journey, I did my thing, and it's all, and you're like, okay, that makes sense. If you're like, damn, I hated all of them, then you're like, okay, that's a red flag. Or he's just like, yeah, I still talk to him. That's a red flag too. So you got to ask better questions. The other one is just like, I know ladies, y'all trying to get to that bag. So you're asking questions. Oh, so what do you do for a living? You know, that's a really thirsty question. What do you do for work? You said their energy is real thirsty. You like to travel? That's like, you know, like it's a thirsty-ish type question because it's super generic. And so you want to ask questions like, do you enjoy what you do for work? Why do you ask that question? You want to ask something to that effect, because men are all about, if they're passionate about what they do, then it's going to be easier for them to make money if they like what they do, if they really enjoy what they do, and they're inadvertently going to tell you what they do if they say that they really enjoy it, and their finances are going to reflect that too. I ain't talking about the 50-year-old rapper that's trying to get his rap career off the ground. He ain't making no money off that, but he's going to inadvertently tell you what he does, and he's going to let you know honestly how he feels about it. Because if a guy is passionate and he's in the field that he enjoys and he's passionate about it, he's going to be making some money off of it. If he's like, yeah, I'm not really feeling it, but I do what I do, ultimately that's going to affect your relationship with him too, because he's not really satisfied, and a man's not going to be very whole until he's very much satisfied in his purpose and what he's doing. So long term, that's a better long term question, because if you find somebody that's passionate about what they're doing and they're in the field that they're working on, then it's going to be easier for that person to settle down in a relationship, because they feel like they're on the right path and they're headed down that path. And if you know what healthy behavior looks like, it's going to be easier to put those pieces together. All right. So you want to ask better questions. That's the other thing, right? And it's the other one, ladies. So going back to it, the real reason why you're single. And now what your girlfriends ain't going to tell you. The other thing is, what does your look like? And this is a tough one, because you got to keep it. And this is what your girlfriends ain't going to tell you. None of your girlfriends going to tell you that your look is off. They just ain't going to tell you. Men are visual. Keeping it 1,000. All right. So what's your look? And your look is very much regional, right? So I'm in LA, so the look up here is just like, all right, our look is crazy. People out here doing, they vegan, they getting skin treatments, they in the gym, like it's a different level, right? So the one thing is that to make you, I wouldn't say, the biggest thing is you want to be as healthy as possible, so that your look is reflective of your health and your weight is going to be reflective of your options, right? Because the healthier and the more in shape you are, the more options that you have with men that make the bag, right? And not to say that, shout out to the big girls, not that you can't have a man. I'm just saying if you want options, because you put yourself in a niche category when you have a certain look. A healthy frame is universal, right? So you want to make sure that, one, you're eating right, you're doing your exercise, you look fly. That's the biggest thing. You want your personality to be very much dope, and you want your look to be right. And a lot of times with ladies, a lot of times women, they don't really realize that their look is off. It can be the hair, it can be pedicure, manicure is off, makeup is off. Sometimes your dressing is not age appropriate, right? You too old trying to wear something that's not really, you doing too much for being a certain age, or you're mid-age, you like 25 to like 35, and you just don't have any swag, right? Your look is off. You got like a dress that's too baggy. You don't know how to walk in heels. You dress like a toddler, like and so guys will look like there's no sex appeal, right? It's just like you got like a church girl vibe. It's just like, okay, you have to rock out your look. A lot of times too, like you may have like your hairstyle don't do it. You may have a big head and you have a short hairstyle, and that shit don't look right. Like you have to get your look together so that it matches your vibe and your swag, right? You got to make sure that you're doing things the right way. And so if you're the best way to do that is, one, is getting your body in tip-top shape. That's the best way. It gives you the most options. Don't let nobody tell you nothing. You get your body in tip-top shape, You get your manicure, you get your pedicure, you get your stuff, you get your look right, you get your dental game right. All those things that's your baseline. And in most cases, if your personality is right, your smile game is right, your energy is right, you're doing the work on yourself, it doesn't seem like you have something going on with you, the average dude is going to holler. Most guys are going to holler. You know, you in shape, you got your look is right, you're not looking crazy. So that's the thing your girlfriends are going to tell you, because your girlfriends, they'll look at you and you'll be looking a hot ass mess. I've gone to these malls and different things, and they like, girl, that's cute. If your homegirl say, girl, that's cute, you look a hot mess. You look a hot damn mess. You look a mess. So you want to make sure that you genuinely know what's looking good on you. You doing the work, you getting your diet right, you getting your fitness game right, you getting your fashion game right, you getting your mental health game right, or whatever. You putting yourself in environments that are fly, and that's what's going to get you a dude to really step up and say, and a fly dude, somebody got it. Because a lot of times, just energetically, dusty dudes, they don't really, they'll do some catcalling, but they're not really going to put in no real game to get a top-notch woman, right? But the top-notch brothers, guess what? They're going to step to you. They're going to step to you. So you want to make sure your look is ordered. You want to progress your look. You want to progress your look with your age so that you fly. And then you'll see. Brothers is going to holler. Brothers are going to holler. And then you'll have a universal look. So it don't matter. You can go to the South. You can go to the Bay. You can go to the East Coast, West Coast. And for the most part, you should have a consistency of dudes hollering if your energy is right, and if your fitness game is right, and your look is right. And and it goes to the next one. You got to step into your femininity. That's a big one that women miss. I know you a boss. I know you doing your thing at work. But guys aren't attracted to that stuff. They just not. They're like, okay, cool, we can respect the woman that's getting her money and getting her paper or whatever, but that's not the same way. We looking at your look, your vibe, your energy, your femininity. And we like a woman that's drenched in femininity, right? That's easy to be around. That's cool to be around. I'll give you a little, like, if you like, some examples is like Gina from Martin. Gina was fun to be around, but she was doing her professional thing, right? When men like that. Beyonce, she's doing her professional thing, super, super feminine, right? We like that. We like a woman that can still do her professional thing, but she's very much, these are just examples, right? Where you can be around the fellas, but you can be cool, you're comfortable with yourself. You don't have to over talk anything. You have your energy is right. And a lot of times what happens is women, they'll come on dates and they'll start talking about, well, I do this and I have this. And, like, imagine if a dude came up to you and just ran down his resume. You'd be like, okay, this dude corny. This dude is mad corny. Like, I'm just trying to see what's up with you if we vibe. Like, all that stuff is cool, but that stuff is only cool if he does it on some subtle indirect. He's not really throwing his resume or whatever. He's just like, all right, cool. You taking you to different places and it's just on some subtle shit. But if he's throwing it in your face, it's mad corny. Now, imagine a guy hearing that, and guys aren't even attracted to that specific thing. We're attracted to your look. You can be like a Fortune 500, I make all this money, do all this or whatever. And if you in your masculine, your look is off, your energy is off, the cute girl at Forever 21 is gonna get wiped up before you, guaranteed. And she made $16 an hour, and you make $16 million an hour. And she gonna be over there getting wiped up by a 7-figure dude, 6-figure dude before you, guaranteed. So that's why it doesn't mean that you have to play down your relationship, your career goals, but you have to be drenched in your femininity. You have to be cool, and you have to allow a man to be a man. And if your energy is right and your vibe is right, you're gonna find yourself a teammate, and somebody's gonna build that empire with you, right? And the other thing too, if you're on these streets, same thing. You want a dude to holler. A lot of women out here like, dudes, they just don't holler no more. They don't really, you know, they after COVID, and it's you, baby, it's you. I have to let you know it is you. If you have your look together, meaning that you are eating healthy, your weight is in order, you have this fly build, your look is right, your energy is right, you're not coming in with baggage. When you walk into Starbucks, heads are gonna turn and people are gonna approach you. And if your energy is right, because what your energy is just like your ability to be comfortable with yourself and smile, and that's gonna make people feel like, all right, you're approachable. You'll even feel the energy from baristas and wait services, and just like it's just a different vibe when you're confident and comfortable with yourself. People will approach you. That's just the way it is, whether you're a man or a woman. You get a dude that's in shape, he's happy, he seems comfortable, he's financially stable. People are gonna be like, hey, how's it going? How's it going? Men and women, they're just gonna do it. So if that's not happening to you, that means in some way, shape, or form, you are shut down. So your job is to open yourself up by the tips that I have given you. And this is just the beginning. I can go on for another 5 tips, but this is just to get you straight. This is just to get you your straight, just to get you moving and grooving, all right? So if you like this, make sure that you share, subscribe, and make sure you hit that link in the description, because I got a personal course just for you if you need some special help so that you can get that dude that you really, really want. I got you. I'll get you right. Don't let your girlfriend steer you down the wrong way. So like, subscribe, share, hit that link in the description. We're going to get you right, ladies. I promise. B.Woods, and I'm out.